Welcome to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. I'm your host, Molly Watts. If you want to change your drinking habits and create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. This podcast explores the strategies I use to overcome a lifetime of family alcohol abuse, more than 30 years of anxiety and worry about my own drinking, and what felt like an unbreakable daily drinking habit. Becoming an alcohol minimalist means removing excess alcohol from your life so it doesn't remove you from life. It means being able to take alcohol or leave it without feeling deprived. It means to live peacefully, being able to enjoy a glass of wine without feeling guilty and without needing to finish the bottle. With science on our side, we'll shatter your past patterns and eliminate your excuses. Changing your relationship with alcohol is possible. I'm here to help you do it. Let's start now. Well, hello and welcome, or welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. With me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from, it's a Bluebird, Oregon right now. We are living in the apex of Oregon weather right now, about 80 degrees, sunny blue skies. It's been beautiful over this long holiday weekend, and I am happy to be here sharing you this coming out on Monday, July 6th. So hopefully if you are here in the U.S., you had a very happy 4th of July weekend. We sure did here in Oregon. So today we are talking about something that is incredibly practical, very timely, I think, for this particular Monday, and honestly, something every single person who is working to change their drinking habits needs to know how to do. We are talking about the 24-hour reset, specifically what to do after you drink more than you planned. And I want to be clear from the beginning, this is not an episode about what to do after you fail. It's not about what to do after you blow it, or what to do after you prove once again that you can't do this. That is not where we're going today. Because if you are trying to create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, the way you respond after drinking more than planned is every bit as important as that doable drink plan itself. So maybe you're listening to this right on Monday, July 6th after the long holiday weekend. Maybe you're not listening to it on Monday the 6th, but you're listening to it later this summer, after a barbecue, after a vacation day, a lake weekend, or just an ordinary evening that turned into more drinking than you intended. Maybe you planned for 2 drinks and you had 4. Maybe you planned to be alcohol-free and then decided just 1, and 1 became 2 or 3. Maybe you woke up this morning feeling tired, puffy, foggy, anxious, headachy, disappointed, and or all of the above. And if that's you, I want you to take a breath, because what happens next matters. Not because 24 hours magically erases the effects of alcohol, because it doesn't, and we're going to talk honestly about that today too. Your body is incredibly capable of repair. Your liver is resilient, your brain is adaptive, and your body is always working to return to balance. But your liver and your brain do not operate on a cute little motivational quote timeline, right? And some recovery happens quickly, some recovery takes days, some recovery, especially from repeated heavy drinking, can take weeks or months. And if there is serious liver damage or some sort of physical dependence on alcohol, that becomes a medical conversation, not a self-coaching exercise. So when I use the phrase 24-hour reset, I don't mean a full biological recovery. I mean a stabilization window. I mean a way to stop adding harm and start adding support. I mean a way to move from shame into data. And that's what I mean when I say we're going to look at a way to remind our brains that one off-plan drinking day does not get to become proof that we cannot change. And that is the real power of this reset. Because after we drink more than we planned, most of us don't simply wake up and think, interesting, I wonder what happened there. let me observe this with curiosity and compassion. No, most of us wake up and go straight into a shame spiral, right? Now, if you've been practicing this like me for a while, hopefully you're learning to become curious and compassionate and ask yourself, what went wrong there? But most often people think, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? Or I should know better. Here's the problem with all of those thoughts. They feel terrible. And they might sound kind of productive, like they might sound like accountability. They might sound like you're praying, trying to be stern and finally fix this problem. But shame is not a useful long-term strategy for changing your relationship with alcohol. It's just not. Shame may motivate you for a few hours, maybe even a day or two, but in the long run, shame feels awful. And if your brain has learned that alcohol provides temporary relief from feeling awful, uncomfortable emotion, then the shame that you are experiencing from your own thinking can become part of the cycle that you're exactly trying to break. You drink more than you plan, you wake up feeling ashamed, you beat yourself up, you feel worse, and then your brain offers alcohol as an option for relief from the feeling that you created by your thoughts about alcohol. That's not brokenness, that is a loop, and loops can be interrupted. And today I want to help you interrupt that loop. We're going to look at what is happening in your body, especially your liver and your brain, and then I'm going to give you a simple 24-hour reset framework that you can use the next time you drink more than you planned. Now, before we go any further, I do want to give a serious medical caveat. This episode is educational. It is for habit change, mindset, and self-coaching support. If you drink heavily every day or nearly every day, if you have ever had withdrawal symptoms when you stop drinking, or if you believe that you may be physically dependent on alcohol, please talk with a medical professional before abruptly stopping or taking any alcohol-free days. All right, disclaimer, done. Because alcohol withdrawal can be dangerous, we know that. And again, if you believe that you might be someone that is suffering from alcohol withdrawal or has any signs of physical dependence, then this episode really is not for you. Let's talk about what's really happening in the body for most of us, for those of us that have just maybe, experienced a day of drinking off plan or more than we typically drink. The liver is the primary organ responsible for metabolizing alcohol. And when you drink alcohol, it's the ethanol that is in alcohol, which it does not matter whether it's in beer, wine, spirits, your liver starts working to break it down. And one of the main pathways that it does this by is using an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase, and it converts ethanol into acetaldehyde. Now, acetaldehyde is toxic. It is not a neutral little substance just passing through. It is one of the reasons that alcohol creates stress in the body. Then another enzyme helps convert acetaldehyde into acetate, which is less toxic and eventually gets broken down into carbon dioxide and water. Now, I know that's a little chemistry class moment, but it matters because when you wake up and think, I just need to sweat this out, or I need to drink a bunch of coffee, or I'm going to punish myself with an intense workout, it helps to remember that your body is already doing very specific biological work. Coffee does not speed up alcohol metabolism. Sorry, doesn't. A cold shower does not undo acetaldehyde exposure. And a punishing workout does not erase the alcohol you drank. Your body needs time, it needs water, it needs nourishment, it needs sleep, and this is the key, it needs you not to add more alcohol. That's not flashy, it's not a detox gimmick, it is not a miracle supplement, it is physiology. Now, a lot of people want to know, how long does it take the liver to recover? And the honest answer is it depends. It depends on how much you drank, how often you drink, your overall health, your genetics, your nutrition, your body size, your liver health, and whether or not there is already existing liver damage. Now, after one off-plan drinking night, your liver may process the alcohol in a matter of hours, but that does not mean every effect is gone when the alcohol is gone from your bloodstream. That's one of the misunderstandings about quote unquote sobering up. Blood alcohol concentration returning to zero does not mean that your body is fully restored. In fact, hangover symptoms often peak when blood alcohol concentration returns to zero. And hangover symptoms can last 24 hours or longer. So if you wake up and think, why do I still feel bad? The alcohol should be gone by now. That's your answer. The alcohol itself may be gone, but your body is still dealing with the after effects. Now, alcohol, obviously, I think most people know, can contribute to dehydration because it suppresses vasopressin, which is a hormone that helps the kidneys retain fluid. But hangovers are not just dehydration, and that's another myth. Hangovers can also involve poor sleep, stomach irritation, inflammation, acetaldehyde exposure, changes in blood sugar, and a kind of rebound anxiety or mini withdrawal feeling as the nervous system recalibrates. That's why just drink water is helpful but incomplete. Water matters, absolutely, but water alone does not fix disrupted sleep, irritated digestion, inflamed tissues, and a nervous system that is trying to find its way back to balance. When we look beyond one night and talk about heavier drinking patterns, the liver recovery timeline stretches. Heavy drinking for even just a few days can lead to fat buildup in the liver. And that early stage fatty liver is often reversible. Some health guidance says that if a person stops drinking alcohol for about 2 weeks, early fatty liver can return to normal. And newer real-world research has also shown that after 3 days of recreational binge drinking, measurable increases in liver fat and stiffness are normalized after 10 days of abstinence in healthy adults. So for those of you that are joining me in a mostly dry July, 10 alcohol-free days in a row can really help your liver. And that's both reassuring and sobering. Reassuring because the liver can recover, and sobering because the liver can change quickly in response to heavy drinking, right? The takeaway is not, well, the liver's resilient, so it doesn't matter. And the takeaway is also not, I drank more than planned, so I've ruined my health. The takeaway is this: the body responds to what we do repeatedly, and it also responds when we stop adding the thing that is creating stress. Your body is always trying to heal, and your job is to stop making the healing job harder. Now, let's talk about the brain, because for many people, the day after drinking more than planned is actually harder mentally than physically. You may feel anxious, you may feel low, you may feel foggy, you may feel emotionally tender, you may feel like your cravings are louder, and you may feel this weird combination of exhausted and restless all at the same time. And then because we are humans with big, beautiful human brains, we often make all of that mean something terrible about us. But a lot of what you're experiencing is explainable. Alcohol affects neurotransmitter systems that are involved in calming, rewarding, stress, sleep, memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation. When you drink, alcohol can create a temporary feeling of relaxation, ease, or pleasure. But the brain is always trying to return to homeostasis to maintain that balance. So as alcohol wears off, there's that rebound effect. The calm that felt artificially boosted the night before can be followed by more anxiety the next day. That's why we call it hangxiety. And it's not proof that you're broken. It's not proof that you need a drink either. It is not proof that you can't do this. It is simply your nervous system trying to recalibrate. We also have to talk about sleep because it's one of the biggest places where people underestimate alcohol's impact. Alcohol, as we've talked about many times here on the podcast, can help you fall asleep faster because it's sedating, but sedation is not the same thing as restorative sleep. Alcohol actually fragments sleep. It can disrupt REM sleep. It can contribute to waking in the middle of the night or early in the morning. And REM sleep matters for emotional processing, learning, and mood regulation. So the next morning, your brain is not exactly operating with the full executive leadership team online. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that we know is involved in planning, future-focused decision-making, impulse control, may be trying to do its job after a night of disrupted sleep and biological stress. And this matters because the day after overdrinking is when people often make one of two unhelpful decisions. The first is the punishment decision. That's it. I'm never drinking again. I'm starting over. I'm going to be better from now on. I'm cutting out alcohol, sugar, carbs, Netflix, everything. New me, starting now. The second is the permission decision. So we got the punishment decision or the permission decision. Both of them are flawed. The permission decision, well, I already messed up. I might as well drink again tonight and start tomorrow, or Monday, or next month. Both of those decisions are usually made by a tired, dysregulated brain. And this 24-hour reset we're going to talk about helps you not hand your future to a brain that is under-rested, inflamed, anxious, and feeling shamed. So let's define the reset in the simplest possible way. A reset does not mean erase. You cannot erase the drinks you had. You cannot erase the fact that you went off plan. A reset means that you stop adding harm and start adding support. You stop adding alcohol. You stop adding shame. You stop adding dramatic identity statements. You stop adding I always, I never, I can't. And you start adding water, food, rest, curiosity, and one next aligned action, one next best step. So here it is, the 24-hour reset. There are 5 parts. Part 1, stabilize your body. The morning after drinking more than planned, your first job is to not analyze your whole life. Your first job is to help your body return to baseline. Start with water. Hydrate steadily. You may want electrolytes. You do not need to chug a gallon of water. You don't need to be dramatic. You are simply giving your body something it needs. Then eat something nourishing. And I know this can go different ways. Some people wake up ravenous. Some people wake up nauseated. Meet yourself where you're at. If you can eat, think about protein, complex carbohydrates, and some healthy fats. If your stomach's irritated, keep it gentle. Alcohol can irritate the stomach, so sometimes simple food is the kindest choice. And please do not use a brutal workout as punishment. If movement feels good, then take a walk, stretch, get outside, let natural light hit your eyes, help that circadian rhythm, get your blood moving. But do not turn movement into a courtroom where your body is sentenced for last night's drinking. Part 2, stabilize your brain. This means facts only, no identity attacks. You may feel disappointed. That's okay. You may feel physically uncomfortable. That's okay. You may have consequences to deal with. That's okay too. But your language matters. Shame says, I'm a disaster. Facts say, I planned for 2 drinks and had 4. Shame says, I never stick to anything. Facts say, last night after the second drink, I chose to pour another. Shame says, I ruined my progress. Facts say, I had an off-plan night and I'm choosing to evaluate it. We got to separate the facts, the reality from the narrative, from the drama, from the story. Your brain can work with facts, and your brain tends to hide or doesn't like, makes you feel terrible from stories of shame. And this is where I want you to remember something I talk about all the time. Your body doesn't make a move without something first unfolding in your mind. Your drinking doesn't just happen. It may feel automatic. It may feel fast. The thought and the feeling may be unconscious, but there is something still happening before your body reaches for the drink. The reset is not about attacking yourself. It is about slowing down enough to see what happened. Part 3, do not drink to fix the effects of drinking. The idea of the hair of the dog has been around forever, and there is a reason that it's tempting. More alcohol may temporarily soften some of the discomfort for some people, but it is not a reset. It is postponing the reset. It is asking your liver, brain, and nervous system to keep dealing with alcohol instead of giving them the break they need to recover. For the habit drinker who drank more than planned last night, the cleanest reset is to make the next 24 hours alcohol-free, assuming that's medically safe for you. If this is an off-plan drinking night, then adding more alcohol because you feel anxious, guilty, or comfortable is not going to give your body the break it needs. It will be extending the loop. So 24 hours alcohol-free if that is something that you do. This is where you can practice one of the most powerful thoughts in habit change. I do not have to feel good right this second to take good care of myself. I want you to hear that again. I do not have to feel good right this second to take good care of myself. That sentence is worth writing down. Because after overdrinking, your brain may demand immediate relief. It may say, I need something. I need comfort. I need to take the edge off. And your prefrontal cortex, your adult brain, can respond, I hear you. We're uncomfortable, and we are still not drinking today. That is self-trust in action. Before we move into the actual data review piece of the 24-hour reset, this is a great place to remind you that tracking matters. Not because we're trying to obsess over every drink, but because awareness is how we change. Whether you use a notebook, a notes app, or a mindful drinking app like Sunnyside, having accurate information about your drinking helps you make better decisions. Hey, it's Molly, and I'm here to talk to you about Sunnyside Med. That's right, Sunnyside has a new program that they've been offering that includes medication that can quiet alcohol cravings. It's called naltrexone, and it works by making alcohol less rewarding in your brain. And Sunnyside now offers access to naltrexone 100% online and combined with personalized care. Thousands of people have already joined Sunnyside Med and are cutting their drinking nearly in half. Sunnyside Med doesn't just give you a pill. It is a whole support system to help you reach your goals. I really want you to check it out, so visit sunnyside.co/minimalist to learn more and see if you qualify today. Okay, let's come back to the reset, because this next part is where the real change happens. Part 4. Take a 10-minute data review. Not a 2-hour shame spiral, not a full life audit, not a courtroom drama, just 10 minutes. Set a timer, grab a piece of paper, and write down the facts. I, in fact, will link the recovery and reflection worksheet that I share often with my Facebook group, with my coaching clients. It's really simple. We're going to look at what was the plan. What did you actually drink? Where were you? Who were you with? What time did you start drinking? And then we're going to ask the most important question. What was the moment when the plan changed? That question is gold because the plan didn't randomly dissolve. There was a moment. Maybe someone offered you another drink. Maybe you saw the bottle sitting there. Maybe everyone else ordered another round. Maybe you felt awkward, left out, tired. Maybe you thought, it's a holiday, right? We're coming out of July 4th. I deserve it. Maybe it was, I already had to, so whatever. I'll start again tomorrow. The thought, whatever it was for you, is the lever. And once you see the thought, you can work with it. Not because the thought's bad, not because you're bad for having it, but because the thought was practiced enough to become familiar, and familiar thoughts feel really true. So write it down. If the old thought was, I deserve another drink, the new thought might be, I deserve to wake up proud of myself. If the thought was, it's a holiday, the new thought might be, it's a holiday, and I still get to choose how I want to feel tomorrow. There's lots of options, and I want you to do the work of finding and discovering. We cannot change what we cannot see. Go back, reflect, and find that moment and see what was happening in your brain. Thoughts, notice that the new thoughts that I'm suggesting, right? These are not magical affirmations. I'm not asking you to stand in the mirror and say something that you don't believe. I'm asking you to find the next believable thought. That's how we change. We don't leap from I have no willpower to I'm a perfect alcohol minimalist who never struggles. Your brain's going to reject that. Instead, we practice thoughts like I can learn from this. I can stop making things worse. I can take one aligned action today. Or I can tell the truth without attacking myself. Those thoughts are believable, and believable thoughts are the ones that you can actually use. Okay, part 5. Make one next promise. 1, not 10, not a complete life overhaul, not I'm never drinking again. One next promise. It might be today is alcohol free. It might be I will go to bed by 10. It might be I will take a 20-minute walk. It might be I will write a drink plan for the next event. The promise should be small enough that your tired brain does not rebel against it. Because the purpose of the 24-hour reset is not to become a brand new person by tomorrow morning. The purpose is to rebuild self-trust through one aligned action. And that's really important because self-trust is not built by never making mistakes. Self-trust is built by how you respond when you do. Now, let's talk about how long it takes to truly recover. After one off-plan drinking night, many people will feel significantly better within 24 hours, but some effects can last longer. Your sleep may be off for another night, your mood may be tender, your digestion may still be irritated, inflammation may be still settling down. And again, that doesn't mean that anything's gone wrong. It means your body is recovering. For the liver, early fatty changes related to heavier drinking may improve with days to weeks of abstinence. And some research points to measurable improvements after 10 days. Some health guidance uses about 2 weeks as a marker for early fatty liver to reverse if there's not more damage. For the brain, acute fogginess can improve with time, sleep, hydration, food, and alcohol-free space. But the deeper brain recovery associated with chronic heavy drinking or alcohol use disorder happens over weeks and months, not hours. Research on brain recovery is actually very hopeful because the brain, as we know, is very plastic, neuroplasticity, right? It can adapt, it can recover, cognitive function can improve. But that all happens through repetition. Repeated alcohol-free days, repeated better sleep, repeated nourishment, repeated movement. So no, 24 hours is not a full reset, but it is a powerful beginning. It is the first domino. The first 24 hours after drinking more than planned are where you prove to yourself that I do not make things worse when I have a hard moment. And that is a skill that can be practiced. And for many of us, it's a new one because the old pattern is familiar. We drink more than we plan. We wake up feeling bad. We shame ourselves. We make huge promises. We feel deprived. We white knuckle it. Eventually we drink again and then use that as evidence that nothing works. This new pattern is different. Drink more than you plan. Wake up, stabilize your body, stabilize your brain. Don't add more alcohol. Evaluate with facts and make one next promise and repeat. Continue. That's how change actually happens, not through perfection, but through repair. So, your assignment this week, Create your own 24-hour reset card. Put it in your notes app or write it on an index card. Again, I'm going to link the recovery and reflection worksheet here in the show notes. I want you to think, my body knows how to heal and I know how to help it. That sentence is true. Your liver is resilient, your brain is plastic, your nervous system can return to balance, your body is always trying to move towards repair. But healing is not passive, you participate in it. So, you participate by not adding more alcohol today, you participate by sleeping, you participate by eating real food, you participate by getting curious instead of cruel with yourself, and you participate by learning from this moment instead of using it as evidence against yourself. All right, that's all I have for you this week, my friends. Until next time, choose peace, and I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. Take something you learned from this week's episode and put it into action. Changing your drinking habits and creating a peaceful relationship with alcohol is 100% possible. You can stop worrying, stop feeling guilty about overdrinking, and become someone who desires alcohol less. I work with people in 2 different ways, and you can learn about them over at my website. Go to www.mollywatts.com/workwithme or reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, molly@mollywatts.com. We'll jump on a call and decide what might work best for you. This podcast is really just the beginning of our conversation. Let's keep it going. If there's one thing I know, it's that change is way easier when you stop trying to do it alone.